Well, welcome back to Sod Busters Metal Detecting. I'm glad you're here today because we've got a very important video here as I show you guys every setting that I use to get the maximum depth out of your Minelab Equinox 800. I want you guys to stick with me all the way to the end of this video because I'm going to have the tips and little secrets that I use to get that depth, and the information is going to be throughout the entire video. So don't stop this video if you want to learn how to get the maximum depth out of your Minelab Equinox 800. Alright you guys, we're going to be going deeper. Alright you guys, in this video we're going to be covering a few of the more advanced settings, I guess you might say, some of the advanced features on your Equinox 800. So if you haven't figured out some of the advanced features that you have on your Minelab Equinox 800, I want you to go back, and I'm going to have a description. I think it's right up here. I never know which side. I'm going to put a link there to show you. I've got several videos, but I'm going to show you the advanced features video. Okay, go ahead and click on that link right up here and get familiar with the advanced features of your Minelab Equinox 800, and that will help you understand what we're going to do here right now. All right, let's get started. All right, the first thing I want to talk about here is your coil. All right, I use the 11-inch coil that comes stock with your Minelab Equinox 800. And if you want to, you have the option to order a couple of other coils. And all the products that I'm going to mention here today, I will have in the links down below in the description of this video, you guys. It'll be easy to find. Just look under coils if you're looking for a larger coil or something. But the way that works is to get a little more depth out of your Minelab is just to you can switch out the coil to a 15-inch coil, and that's going to automatically increase your depth somewhat right there. All right, the 11-inch coil does great. You're going to get some great depth out of it. But if you put yourself on a 15-inch coil, you're going to increase that depth pretty significantly. So that is one little tip right there. Bigger the coil, the deeper the targets. You're gonna read deeper targets. All right, that's tip number one. That's just a real basic one. Now we're going to talk about the settings. All right, you guys, I've got the sensitivity and the volume turned down right now because I'm indoors, and as you can see those numbers bouncing around, the detector is picking up metal in the couch up there. So anyway, first thing I want to talk about is your mode. All right, people have their own preferences, and these whatever you use, you can modify it to get more depth. All right, so what we're going to be looking at right now, I prefer to use field 2. I've got that in field 2 mode right now. That is my favorite mode to hunt in most cases. But you can use whatever you want to. I see a lot of people using Park 1. And that's fine too. Whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you feel gives you the biggest edge is up to you, okay? But today we're going to go in field 2, and then we're going to take a step outside here pretty quick, and I'm going to show you how to properly ground balance this machine, because ground balance is important. And as I've said before in previous videos, it is not necessary to ground balance the Minelab Equinox 800. You can hunt with it without ground balance, leave it in 0, and it's going to do just fine for you. But in order to increase the depth, to get the maximum depth out of your machine, you're going to want to properly ground balance this machine, okay? Usually the 0 ground balance, when you just turn it on and go, I've done quite a few of the beginner videos, and that's fine. Okay, I've found a lot of nice things at good depths without ground balancing this machine. But we want to learn how to ground balance it so we can get a little extra depth out of it. All right, let's go outside. Okay, you guys, first thing I'm going to do is I am going to select the ground balance mode right there. You guys should know that already if you've watched my basic settings video and also the advanced options video. You should know how to ground balance this already, all right? But this here is your accept reject button. You're going to hold this down because we're going to do a manual ground balance. Well, no, it's an automatic ground balance, but you can do manual as well. That's in the advanced options video. But we're going to hold down the accept reject. We're going to find the most important part about ground balancing right now is we need to find a quiet piece of ground. We don't want to ground balance over anything that's going to be sounding off, any type of metal, because we don't know what that metal is. We may be ground balancing out a good silver coin. So we want to find a quiet piece of ground where there's no target, no signal. And that's where we're going to ground balance, okay? All right, let's give it a shot. Okay, we're in the detect mode. Okay, there's a quiet piece of ground right there. So I'm going to hold down the accept and I'm going to wait. I've got to go to the ground balance mode, hold down the accept and reject. Yeah, that ground balanced at 69. I'm going to go back, see if I can find a better spot, because that sounds quiet right there. So we'll try this again. Go back to the ground balance, accept, reject. That one ground balanced at 85. So the main thing when you're ground balancing is to find a quiet piece of ground. Just search around, turn on your detector, go out there, search around, and try to find a spot that does not have a signal and ground balance there, okay? Once you're properly ground balanced, you're going to want to ground balance every so often. So each time you ground balance, make sure that you find a quiet piece of ground and re-ground balance every so often. There is a ground balance option up here that you can track your ground balance, but I don't recommend that. The book doesn't recommend it. When you're using the auto tracking, you're taking the chance of auto tracking ground balancing out something good, okay? And that's not something I want to do. It's not something you want to do either. But anyway, just ground balance every so often. It's very important in order to increase your depth. Okay, you guys? Let's go back inside. If you guys have any questions, you know, when you're done watching this video, if you have any questions, leave me a comment down below in this video. I will answer them, okay? All right? So I always reply as long as I see the comment. All right, let's go back inside and talk over some more settings. Okay, you guys, I thought about something here. Before I forget, I want to let you know something else that is going to give you the best depth with your Minelab Equinox 800 is to use your multi-frequency, okay? Multi-frequency is going to give you the best depth, all right? So I know that they've come out with the new 4 kilohertz and stuff that says it shoots deeper for larger targets and stuff. And a lot of people are hunting in 4 kilohertz. I don't recommend that, you guys. I recommend you hunt in multi-frequency, all right? You will get the best depth in multi-frequency. But if you do want to change it, you know how to do that, all right? So, but that's what I hunt in, is multi-frequency. I'm going to try to present this to you here as if I'm looking at the detector. All right, when I get started, I go ahead and I power on the detector. Next thing I do is I choose my mode, okay? In this case, I am choosing field 2. All right, after that, then I am going to go down here and, whoops, sorry about that, yeah. All right, so you can noise cancel in the beginning if you'd like. Sometimes I do, but a lot of times I wait until I'm done with all my settings and then I noise cancel afterwards. But anyway, you're going to go ahead and ground balance. If you want to, you can do that later as well. But you want to make sure that you do your ground balance. Now your volume adjust is, I recommend you take that all the way to 25, your highest volume, so you hear every target. Because especially when you're looking for deep targets, the audio is not going to be the same level as it would be on a shallow target. It's going to be quieter. So you need to tune your ear, okay? You're not just going to set your detector, but you're going to tune your ear to listen for the faint targets, all right? That's very important. If you can't hear those faint targets, and that's why headphones are very important. But if you don't hear those faint targets, you may be passing up a very old coin or a piece of gold or a piece of jewelry. So learn to listen to the quiet little faint targets, okay? All right, so adjust your volume all the way to 25. Use your headphones. Don't deafen yourself, but adjust the level of volume from your headphones, but keep this at 25. All right, now threshold level, that is a matter of choice. I prefer to keep that at 0 because I don't want to hear a hum. All right, so that's not important. I don't think that's going to make any difference at all in your depth. Target tone, that is a matter of personal preference. You tune that to your ear. All right, whatever tone that you hear best, adjust those tones to where it fits your ear as well. All right, and that is also in the advanced options video. All right, so all right, accept, reject. I don't like to reject anything. As a matter of fact, a lot of times I put it into all metal mode. Can't do it right now while I'm up here, but and then the next one is recovery speed. All right, you see where I've got that? That's at number 1. Now your recovery speed can go all the way to 8, or you can drop it down to 1. All right, when you have the recovery speed, this is very important. This is one of the most important things that you need to know here. Your recovery speed is going to make a difference in how deep your detector shoots. So I keep mine at the lowest level, and that's number 1. All right, because I'm on a recovery speed of 1, that means that this metal detector is going to pick up targets slower. So you need to slow down your sweep speed. All right, slow down how fast you sweep the coil back and forth. The reason is because when you sweep too fast, you're not giving the detector a chance to read the targets that it's going over. So slow down the sweep speed, give a chance for the signal to go down to the deep target and then come back up and give you that audible tone letting you know that there's something there. So you must slow down, all right? Slow, low. You've heard the term low and slow. It's very important that when you go to a low recovery speed that you slow down. All right, you guys, you're going to start hunting meticulously and listen for those deep, faint targets. All right, so now that we're in recovery speed, we're going to go ahead and hold this down to go to the advanced option. Okay, now you see that there's a line under the coil there where that's blinking. That is your iron bias. All right, as you can see here, I've got that set at 0. Okay, I don't want to cut out any iron. I don't want it to recognize iron as a bad thing or anything else. I want to read those targets. Now, you may have a different preference, okay? But in my belief, in order to get the most depth and read good targets as deep as you can go, leave that at 0, okay? Because if this is iron bias and I've got it set to 3 or 4, something like that, where it's going to say, no, that's iron, so I'm going to mask it out. All right, that's what the machine is saying, is that it's going to max it out or mask it out because it thinks it's an iron target. Well, I'll tell you one thing, there's no detector out there that is 100% accurate whether an object is iron, ferrous, or non-ferrous. So, I don't want the detector to make that choice for me. I'm taking that to 0. I want to hear every signal. I will decide according to the tone and according to the stability of the target, whether it's repeatable and repeatable in all directions, whether I'm going to dig that target or not. Okay, so take that to 0. So again, you've got your iron bias in 0. Sorry. Hold that down, go back to the recovery speed. I've got the recovery speed at 1. All right. So those settings right there are extremely important to get the maximum depth. All right. So now let's say that we've got that all set up. Now you get into the search mode. You want to take your sensitivity up, and you guys know that your plus and minus buttons here either lower or increase your sensitivity. Now I recommend to go with the highest sensitivity that you possibly can, but still keep the metal detector stable. You don't want it chattering so bad that you can't hear your targets. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the volume a little bit here. So I'm going to go back here. Okay, right now you can hear, since I've got the sensitivity up to 25, right now it's reading things inside the house and everything else, but you don't want to hear that because you're not going to hear a target when you're hunting. So go ahead and lower your sensitivity down just to the point where your detector stabilizes. Okay, and that way you're not mistaking interference for a good target. But run your sensitivity as high as you possibly can and yet keep the metal detector stable. All right, you guys? Okay, another thing I want to tell you about is when you turn on your detector, you select your mode, get your settings all put into place. That's all good, all right? If you're in a place, let's say you're in a old homestead or a place where an old plantation or who knows what it was, some historical place, and you want to make sure that you dig all the good relics, you want to hear everything. You don't want to pass anything up, because if it's from that time era, I mean, dig those signals. You don't know what you're passing up. It could be something extremely rare and valuable. So what I like to do, you guys probably, some of you may use this, but a lot of people don't. But this is your all metal mode. You see how it filled in that graph? Okay, look right up here. See how that part of the graph is empty? You put this in all metal mode, that's taken that to, that's full. It's going to read all the metal then. All right? After all your settings are done and everything, ground balance, and also do your noise cancel. And when you noise cancel, you guys, it's very important that you hold your coil in the air. Just hold it horizontal out there. All right? Do your noise cancel while the coil's in the air. After the noise cancel is done, set it back down, hit the search mode, and start going. Start hunting. Hunt slow. All right? Now, you're going to start listening. Okay? This is where it's going to take some practice. To become a really good detectorist isn't just about the settings on your machine. Okay? It's about what you hear and learning what those tones mean. All right? So you're going to listen for those really faint targets. Okay? And you're not just swinging along, you know, you're not going to just be, I'm going to shut this off so I can talk to you. But you're not going to just be swinging along really fast like, oh, I know there's a good target around here somewhere. When you get to a good spot, that's fine in a park if you want to do that. Go collect up some clad or something. But if you want good old targets, okay, I'm in Idaho. Our history doesn't go that far back. But still, if I want to get to the deepest targets that Idaho has to offer, I really need to slow down and just really listen for those targets, those deep targets that are really faint. All of a sudden I hear that little faint target down there. Okay, it's repeatable both ways. I'm going to switch to the other side. That's repeatable both ways. I'm in all metal mode. I don't care if the detector thinks it's iron or not. If I get a good solid signal, I'm going to dig it. All right, you guys? And that right there is how you're going to find awesome treasure. All right? And that's how you're going to get the most depth out of your Minelab Equinox 800. All right? So if you want to go deeper, take those settings. And this is very important. Just because I'm showing you these settings right here doesn't mean that that's going to work for you. All right? That's another thing. In order to determine whether that's going to work or not is going to be testing that you have to do according to the ground that you're hunting. So if you're hunting a highly mineralized ground, that may not work for you. You may have to make a couple of adjustments. You may have to lower the sensitivity. Who knows? If it's a really trashy area, these settings are not going to work for you. Okay? And I will cover that in another video here in the future. But I'm talking about for good ground. Let's say it's a plowed field and it's not too trashy, but you know there's some old targets there. Get the most depth out of it. These are the settings that you want to use. You adjust these settings to fit your situation, the ground that you're hunting, and once you learn how that all works, you're good to go. All right, you guys? All right, that is how you go deeper with the Minelab Equinox 800.